Hello, hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So, I decided midway through filming my 2020 favorites video that I have too much. I am a Libra. I cannot edit myself in any way, shape, or form. So I picked a lot of stuff that I really loved. And so I decided midway through filming that video that I was going to break into two parts and just talk about eyeshadows in the second part, which is this video. So hi, welcome. If you're here, you're going to hear about all of my favorite eyeshadow palettes that I tried in 2020. Or into 20, whatever, into 2019, into 2020. I really loved eyeshadows, and I think this year is especially because I wasn't doing like a full face of makeup for months. Like literally there's just months of my life where I was not putting on like foundation, maybe once a week, if that. Maybe. And I think there was many a week that there was no foundation that was happening. It was just, no. And I think especially, as this part of your face is covered, I really like to play up the eyes. I think that's what people can see, and I always love eyeshadow anyways. So I think I've really kind of gone deep, and I've tried a huge variety of palettes this year. So I've had a lot of fun playing with these palettes over the year. I've had a lot of fun filming this video and talking about all my favorite things. So hopefully you will as well. Before we go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That'd be super cool. And yeah, I guess with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Okay, we're gonna go through these palettes very quickly. I'm gonna start with my stack of Colourpop. I need to do a video. Colourpop, like, we gotta talk. You do too much. You're actually doing the most, and I'm a little bit over it, to be honest. But there's a lot of Colourpop this year that I really liked. Okay, so really quickly, Blush Crush. Beautiful, beautiful pink palette. Wore this a lot in the spring. So gorgeous. Nude Mood. Oh my gosh. It's a little, why is it all like, let me turn the brightness down a little bit. You can see it better. Nude Mood. I love it. Warm, neutral colors. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, this is a new one. This was like their fall collection, I guess. I don't know. This was the Grandeur palette, which again is like nudes, but this gorgeous like duochrome brown green. That's why I love this palette, is for this duochrome brown green. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I've been wearing this a lot the last 2 months, month and a half or so. Again, time has no meaning, especially when it comes to Colourpop releases, because it just so much happens. Then we're going to talk about these two palettes. These both came out. These were like the only Colourpop palettes that were released during the shutdown, and when Colourpop, for a hot minute, stopped coming out with 1,000,001 things because they had to shut their factories down. But this is She's Got Solstice. This was, of course, these were two palettes for Ulta. I love this color story. The kind of pinks and the corals with the pop of green and the pop of gold. Very summery. I love that. And then this palette right here, this is All Things Equinox. This is the palette that got me into cool tones. It's really, really pretty. It's like cool tone purples. So, so, so pretty. So after I got this and loved it, I did actually end up having to buy this Making Mauves palette, which is, again, kind of cool tone purples. They're similar. I'm not going to lie. These two palettes are, when you put them right next to each other, they look super similar. Colourpop. I mean, they just keep duping themselves, but they're both good. They're both pretty. This one's a little more neutral. The Making Mauves is a little more neutral than this guy, which is a little more purple and gray. But they're both nice. I like them. I like them. And I like the Super Shocks that's in this one. Oh, my girl RawBeautyKristi. Congrats, girl. Like, you created the palette. I think, is this going to be the palette of the year? I don't know. This is just So rich and beautiful. And she put so much loving care into this palette. You can just tell. It's just so good. It's such an amazing palette. And then the one that I probably used the most is actually Star Wars The Child palette. Not just because I am a huge Star Wars fan, but this color story, I'm in love with this. I love this. You can do a neutral look, you can do kind of like a lighter green look, and you could throw in some dark and you do a darker green look. It's very, very easy. I would use this a couple times a week when I would have class because it's very easy to just do like a little like a 3 shadow look and be very happy with the results. Yeah, you can't go wrong with this palette. And like, it's got a little baby Grogu. When this palette came out, no one knew his name. Remember? Remember, he's still Baby Yoda in my life, but oh my god, little baby Grogu. Okay, that's all my Colourpop. All right, let's move on to some others. I've got 2 of the Huda Beauty mini nude palettes. I talked about this recently, that both of these kind of remind me of the Naughty nude palette, which she just recently came out with. Like if you combine these 2 together, like you can see a lot of similarities. These are very nice. I love the Huda Beauty formula. I think her mattes are very nice. Her shimmers are fantastic. And I love a good nude palette. I wore these a lot like in the summer because there's nothing I love more in the summer than like a bronzy nude look. And then we're going to talk about the palette that I'm actually wearing on my eyes today. This is Pat McGrath. Is the Mothership Rose Decadence palette. So this is a little 6-pan palette. I really like this. I really, really love this color story. I love Pat McGrath's matte shadows. I wish she would come out with an all matte palette. I really do. These shimmers are really pretty. They're kind of like, there's some like duochromes. I think this one's a little bit of a, like a duochrome. They're very pretty shadows. I guess it's not really a duochrome. I don't know. These are her shimmer formulas. I am wearing this today, and I did get a little creasing, so I almost took this out of the running, but I just love the color story so much, I decided it can stay. It can stay, because it's beautiful, although I don't know. I'm starting to get like some creasing with her shimmer formulas. Like, I don't know what's going on with Auntie Pat, but it's still a pretty palette. Okay. Oh, another boring palette that did not come out this year, but I just used it for the first time this year. This is the KKW Classic palette. I was very surprised. I love a neutral palette, but I was surprised how much I love this one. Because what I do is I use like the dark shade and this light shade and then this light shimmer. And it's a really pretty kind of like cool tone neutral look that I'm not used to doing, but I love. I think it's fantastic. It's really, really gorgeous. We are not worthy. We are not worthy of the magnificence that is the Jackie Aina ABH palette. And this color story is amazing. These mattes, pigmented, beautiful, blend. These shimmers. My favorite is Zam. Zam. It's like one of these like flaky, oh my gosh. Look at that. Where is it? Where did I swatched it right here. Can you see that? I don't know if you can. Oh my goodness. King. Best palette. This came out, of course, end of 2019, but still, king. It's amazing. It's amazing. This is one that also did not come out this year, but I had it, I bought it, didn't use it for years. I think it was 2 years that I had it and didn't use it, and then I started using it this summer and I loved it. So this is the Dominique Cosmetics Latte, not latte, Lemonade. Look at the packaging. Read, Iftin, read. The Lemonade palette. I was surprised by this. I'm not gonna lie. I was surprised by how much I liked this because I remember this not getting very good reviews. I also remember she had to recall this and then issue new ones. So I do have the new issued ones. This is not really my jam, my normal go-to kind of look, but I love it. I love it. So what I ended up doing is I do a lot of these like lighter colors, just kind of like buffed out all over the crease, and then just some of these shades just on the lid. It was a very easy summertime, not like just like one or two, like two shadow. Like mostly it was like a 2 shadow kind of look. But they're very pretty. I think the reason this didn't get very good reviews is because these shimmers are not like super opaque. But that's why I like them. That's the reason I like these shadows so much, is because they're not so opaque. They're kind of lighter. But they're still sparkly. They're still shiny. I don't know. This was like the dark horse, which is ironic I call it the dark horse, but this was the surprise palette for me this year. I didn't expect to like this one as much as I did, and I love it. I think this is a fantastic palette. It's so good. Here's another palette. This is the Anastasia Amrezy palette. Did you remember that this came out in 2020? Because if you told me, I'd be like, no, this has been out for, it seems like a very long time, but also like no time at the same time. Like, you know, it's weird because like the thing is with Anastasia too is that they had so many palettes in 2019, and then they had this, and they had the pink, the volume 4 Norvina palette, and then they had the mini soft glam for holiday, and that was it. Like they had so many, and then they had nothing, and this was one of them. But this is a really pretty color story. This is a very nice color story. Again, it's kind of like a neutral, but with like a pop of like blue, a pop of like kind of a couple purples, and then a pop of pink. But I love it. Again, it's the Anastasia quality. The mattes are fantastic. The shimmers are gorgeous. They're gorgeous. I use this palette a lot, like in the spring. I think this palette came out, I want to say like January? It was a long time ago, or it feels like a long time ago. But honestly, I have no idea. I don't know. All sense of time has absolutely no meaning for me anymore. But this is just really pretty. I've really enjoyed it. It does have a pressed glitter. I think it has two pressed glitters. So if you're not into that, then you won't be into this palette. But I love a good pressed glitter, so I'm here for it. All day, every day. Oh, but look at this barb shade. I have to swap. Like, look at this barb shade. Oh, it's so pretty. It's like pink, but like has little green sparkles in it. Ooh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Okay. Getting down to the last three palettes. These three might be, well, okay, like I said, Jackie Aina is still king. This is still amazing. But these next three palettes are palettes that I truly have like deep affinity and love for these palettes, which is kind of interesting because they kind of span the spectrum. 2 of them came out very early in the year, or even one came out for holiday 2019. And then the other one literally came out like a month ago, and I already know that it's one of my favorite palettes that I used this whole year, and I adore it. So it's kind of like a weird mix of palettes that I got. So let's get to the last 3. So I'm gonna do this guy. This is my girl Hannah Smokey Glows collab with Midas Cosmetics. I love this palette because I love Hannah, but I also love this palette because of the color story. I adore this color story. It is so pretty. This is a bit of me. This really is a bit of me. These are the colors that I'm drawn to. I like that you can do a lot. You can do a red look. You can do a neutral look. You can do a couple different neutral looks. You can do neutral with this this brown shade, which is called Dofa. It's a deep brown shade, but it has red sparkles. Ooh, it's really pretty. You can also do a neutral look, but with like a shimmer shade. You can do something that's a little more purple, a little more pink. I mean, there's a lot of variety that goes into this. You can see the care that went into this collection, this palette. I actually have interacted with Rocio, so the owner of Midas Cosmetics, through email. There was a little bit of a problem with my order, and she was just the kindest, sweetest person that I have ever, I think, interacted with over email. I'd love to meet her in person because she was so kind. And I was also kind of amazed. I was like, oh, the owner of the company is emailing me. Like, wow, okay. Yeah, really great customer service. But like, so I like Midas Cosmetics even more. Because I'd already had this palette, already was playing this palette, and then was contacting her. It's like made me like the brand even more after I had my issue, because, you know, sometimes you have a problem and it's like, oh no, I don't want to deal with that brand anymore. But, you know, so often it's all about the customer service. I don't care if things don't always turn out perfectly, or if, you know, something happens, as long as you just handle it well. Like, you have good customer service and you take care of, like, your customers, and that's what Midas did. And so I loved that, and I love this palette, and it's very good quality. So this came out, well, I think it launched in February, which is when I got it. I got the whole, like, PR box set, but February, like, of course, you know, all the shutdowns and stuff started in China first, and they are manufactured and then shipped over, and it was months later. I don't remember when I actually ended up getting this, because it was so long after I actually ordered it. But they did a really good job of just constantly sending out, like, I think it was either like weekly or bi-weekly emails being like, yeah, we're still waiting. You know, this health thing is, you know, this is the worldwide crisis here, so we're waiting. But they did a really good job of, like, keeping everyone informed. And I'm so happy that I eventually did get my hands on this, because it's so beautiful, so pretty. Okay, second to last palette. Now, this is the one that I've just been using for about a month, and I already know I just adore this palette. This is the Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse. Like I said, Lunar Beauty is picking up a lot of categories this time around, but this is the newest eyeshadow palette. I like a lot of their palettes. I think my other favorite would be the Strawberry Dream palette. This one, I think, kind of takes the show for me. I just love it. Again, it's not one that I would have seen coming. If you had shown me this palette last year in 2019 and say, you're going to love this palette, I'd be like, no. No, I don't do cool tones. They don't look good on my skin. These do. And I think I used to say I could wear cool tones if I had a warm tone to put in the crease and then kind of buff the cool tone into it. So it sort of is like not just the cool tone directly on my skin. So this, I can't do that with this palette, because it has kind of like this neutral sort of warm tone center shade. And then it has, you know, the cool tones on either side, except this one. This one's like a warm tone. And this is like a warm tone shimmer. So it has a nice mix, and this is like a really, I think, an interesting take and a way to do neutrals that is not like the standard, should I pull it out? I mean the standard, like, boring warm tone neutral palette like this KKW, which I do love, but this is boring. Like, this is not an interesting palette to look at by any means. Like, this is a boring palette. This is not a boring palette. And what I've been loving is actually doing this gray, like, all on the crease, and then switching up, like, one of the shimmers. I really love this one. This Starry-Eyed shimmer all over the lid is beautiful. It's beautiful, because these shimmers, they have that little micro glitter that I just love. That's my favorite kind of shimmer. It's like a shimmer that's really, like, metallic, but also has those little glitters. Oh, they're so pretty. This is beautiful. This is phenomenal. I know a ton of people have done a video on it already, but I feel like I need to do a video on it just because I love it so much. So much. Okay. Last palette I'm going to talk about. This one makes me a little bit sad because just dropped the plastic thing, because I don't know what's happening with this brand, and I love this palette so much that I want the brand to come out with more stuff. I want a volume 2 of this palette, because volume 1 is so amazing. This is the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals Volume 1 palette. I wore this for New Year's Eve last year. I am wearing 2 of the glitters on my eyes right now. It's so pretty. Okay, let's open it up. I mean, first of all, the palette itself is nice. I love that the mirror is so large. And then here's the actual eyeshadows. I love that I say they, it's Tati Beauty. It was created by Tati Westbrook. I do miss Tati, I'm not gonna lie. I miss Tati. I miss her videos. I don't know what happened, and I don't know if I really even care. At this point, like, I don't care about the drama. I just miss, like, her presence on YouTube, and her energy, and I want more. I want more of this. I want a volume 2. Because the concept of this is so cool that there are, 6 shadows or 6 families and then 4 different finishes with each shadow. So we have matte, sequin, metallic, and then the glitters. I think it's beautiful. The shadows all perform amazing. The shimmers are maybe the least favorite row. They're a very nice standard shimmer formula. They perform well, but I think pairing them with the glitters is where it's really at. It's so beautiful. This and I think the Lunar Beauty are sort of my picks, or my kind of my top favorite palettes. This Lunar Beauty, Jackie, I can't forget Jackie Aina, because they're like neutrals with a twist. There's something about them that is not just neutral. It's a little something to make these palettes exciting, to make them different, to make them better. And I just also the quality is fantastic, but I love this palette. I love it. I love this palette, and I need to pull it out and play with it even more than I have been. But I'm so glad. I just love the glitters. I'm wearing. I started out just using this glitter, so the Aura. Yeah, the Aura glitter, and then I did end up putting a little bit, I think, of this one, which is Poet. So the kind of like cream, silvery gold, and then the kind of pinky glitter on top of my eyeshadow, and I just love it. It's so pretty. Okay, well that's it. I did decide halfway through filming this video, and I'll go back and refilm an intro at this point, that I'm going to just do my top palettes of 2020 because I had way too many and this video was getting very long. So these are my top eyeshadow palettes of the year. If you do want to see my top other makeup products, oh my goodness, I forgot to talk about my hair product. Okay, I will go back and film that. I'm all over the place. So if you want to see my top makeup and my one hair product, which I will go back and film, of the year, I will link that video. I also put it in the description box. Be sure to go and watch that. I thought that there wasn't going to be a lot of products that I liked in 2020. Turns out there was a lot. So much so that I had to break this into 2 videos midway through filming, because as I'm sitting here going on like an hour, I'm like needing tea because I've been talking for so long. But I love all of this stuff so much, and I wanted to share my loves with you. I'm very curious, what are your favorite things? Like, what are your favorite eyeshadow palettes that you've tried this year? Please let me know. Give me some recommendations. Like, what have you been loving? What's really good that you think I need to also be trying? Because I will try it. I love eyeshadows so much. I will try them. But anyways, thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. I hope you liked this video. If you did, you can give it a little thumbs up. That'd be really cool. That'd be really nice. I would appreciate it. That'd be cool. Awesome. And also, if you liked this video, if you want to see more, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell. You know the drill. Anyways, thank you again for spending part of your day with me. I will see you guys next time. Bye.